On a hot summer's night, would you offer your throat to the wolf with the red rose?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I'd rather suck a Coca-Cola ice pop.
Hello.
Hi guys. Bloody hot out here tonight. Humid, isn't it?
Very.
Had a great day. I hope you all have. Excuse us while we refresh.
Yeah, because these are really nice. A lot of flavour in them. I actually like yours.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's bigger than mine.
Yeah, because you've eaten half mine as well. Right. I thought it's time for a quick update. Some of you guys all know that I was up for an interview with Morrison's today here in Gibraltar at 2 o'clock this afternoon. It went very well, as far as I can tell. It was an hour long, which I thought was quite a long interview, but yeah, I took it in my stride. Went in confident, come out confident. I have no reason to believe that any of it went bad, so fingers crossed, guys. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the work conditions. I'm happy with the hourly pay. I'm happy with what they're offering me, which is pretty much anything. There's earlies or twilight, what they call twilight, 3 till midnight, which is the one that I've opted for. Mainly due to where we live, because it's a 2 mile hike to get there, or just over 2 mile hike to get there. But in this sort of weather, it's cool. Didn't want to do it at 6 o'clock in the morning, obviously. Excuse me. And nights, they've got nights coming up apparently as well. But like I say, there's benefits in everything, there's bonuses in everything, but I want to stick to what we planned on coming out here to do. 20 hours for me suits me down to the ground. We don't want to be working more hours than needed, otherwise we may as well stay in England. Not only that, but when I mentioned to the interviewer about Sarah applying twice and getting rejected, but previously working for Morrison's, she was quite gone out. She was like, there's no reason why she got rejected, so tell her to try again. Which she had done last night, and she got through to stage 2, which is like a
test, innit? That one's a test.
It's a multiple choice research type questionnaire thing. Just see how you would respond to certain situations. So I told her that she'd done that, and she says, oh great, she says she'll be up for an interview soon then. At which point she's asking whether we would be suitable to work together on the same shift. She says, is that a possibility? That's fantastic, because like I say, then we could walk home together. Crossing the border from Gibraltar's not too bad. Like we've said before, we haven't got any issues with Spain. We just find it to be more cautious. Let's say it's more cautious because of the language barrier and such like. You know, it makes you feel that little bit, you know, sort of not edgy or anything, but you just got to be careful. I wouldn't want Sarah walking at midnight at that time, you know.
I wouldn't want you walking at that time either, you know.
So, like I say, it looks like they're trying to work in with us as well as us wanting the job. We explained to her that we've walked 200 miles in 4 weeks, and she was like, what for? So we said looking for work and such like, so it shows our dedication to, you know, making a go of it out here. And like I say, touch wood. I'm sure.
Seriously thought you was going to touch my head then. But no, don't, okay? What can I tell you?
It's all looking good. It's all looking good. Over to Sarah while I finish my melting. Look, that's how hot it is in here. Look at all this, yeah? Yeah? So over to Sarah, she'll let you know what's happened with her work up to now.
Okay, so I got stuck in first night, tried to get stuck in. Well, not stuck in. Okay, just tried to get in there. Anyway, shut up. Seriously.
Careful, babe, careful. We
Seriously.
don't want the viewers knowing how we're earning our money.
Anyway,
I'll get on with it.
I loved it at night. I loved it at night. It was quite good because they had a party going, so I kind of knew what to do basically. But the first part of the day was really confusing. Obviously, the place just filled up. So I didn't particularly enjoy the sort of beginning of the day. People talking really loud. Music was so-so. It was good music. But felt like a spare fart.
I've got to be honest, it's lovely music in there.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Quite nice.
Anywhere from 60s to 90s.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
In my mind, obviously the first day, I didn't particularly feel great until the night time, really later on at night, about 9 o'clock. And I just fitted in fine after from then.
That's because they had a private party.
Yeah, because they had a private party, and so there was organisation and whatnot, and people knew what to do, what they were doing, and things were explained brilliantly. I could understand, no problem. But when I got assigned with somebody, and they were supposed to be helping to train me, it just become where they was just too busy to even train me, and I ended up wandering around picking up glasses, stuff like that. I couldn't even make head nor tail about what anyone even said, because even though it was supposed to be an English place, and they said all the workers were English, only one person spoke Spanish. To be fair, when I was there, everyone just spoke Spanish.
And to be fair, let's remember that the Gibraltarians out here have quite a strong accent as well.
And there's that as well.
And you start listening to a conversation, you know, when you're eavesdropping, you're thinking, oh, right, they're foreign. They're not actually foreign, they're speaking English, but they've got a very strong accent. It's like, wow. Didn't realise I was talking our language. So I can imagine what that's like in a rowdy pub with music on as well. I couldn't cope with it.
I definitely couldn't cope with it, and I went back the second day, even though I didn't actually really want to go. I went back anyway. I spoke to the manager and sort of explained the situation from the morning and how that they put me with someone that just spoke Spanish to the customers. I asked many times to find out what she'd said to them. Obviously, I didn't know the menu and stuff like that. That was just going to take time. But I got there for the second day, and it was just the same thing. Even though I already had learnt a lot the day before, like cleaning glasses, like because cleaning glasses took quite some time when there's quite a lot of them. Folding napkins, being able to set tables, things like that. No problem. I learnt that really well on the first day. But the second day, just blew my head off. I knew that the night before it wasn't quite the job for me. It was definitely too much, too busy, too much to comprehend. I just couldn't comprehend it.
He was expected to know the job inside out. You cannot start a job like that and not be trained, and there wasn't offering
the training wasn't. They offered that, no problem, but the training was no way training. You know, you want someone to take the time to discuss it with you, not run around and doing their own job. And I did explain that to them before I left. So I did 3 hours, and
3 hours on the second day?
On the second day, yeah. And then decided that was it. It's definitely not for me.
And that's when the penny starts dropping as to this isn't Sarah being at fault. This is a common thing, because they were fully understanding and they never questioned it.
Yeah, I've been in today.
Only to find out that they're advertising pretty much constantly for staff. Now we can see why.
Yeah.
Because nobody can
There's no allocated areas for anyone. They actually are everywhere. They have to. It's quite a big place, really, biggish. A lot of tables, a lot of numbered tables that were mixed up. In my mind, I just certainly couldn't pick it up. Not straight away, anyway.
Well, I'm going to be honest, Sarah was quite upset about it.
I've sort of punished myself, really.
Yeah. And well done for admitting it, because, like I say, it's not a easy thing to admit. But yes, she was quite upset. She was punishing herself about it.
But I was punishing you as well in the meantime, and I don't mean to do that. It's just the way I can deal with it. But
it boils down to one thing. She felt as though she was failing herself. She also felt as though she was failing me. No, I've never even looked at it like that, not once, right? Because the way I see it is, there's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with failing at all.
No.
Sarah had the courage to go out there and try her hand at a job that she's never tried before. How can that be a failure? Excuse me. So no, not at all. Even though it was another bit of a rough, bumpy patch to our journey, we got over it reasonably quick. And I'll tell you the way we got over it. Sarah went out for a walk. She needed time on her own. I was fine about that. In fact, it gave me the time to do a bit of my reading a book that I've been wanting to read for a long time, and seriously chilling out, yeah? We can all sit down and we can all take half an hour out, but I mean really seriously chilling out. So it did us both the world of good. It gave Sarah the time to reflect on, what had happened. Sarah's different to me. If I felt that way, I would sit down and talk to her straight away. Whereas Sarah is different, and I appreciate her for that. I honour for that. She finds it easier to just go away, sit on her own, contemplate things, work things out.
Sometimes in the meantime I'm causing problems outwardly, even though it's not intentionally. Like, because I fight with my own mind, it is like torture. Just questions all the time, thoughts.
You
overthinking that, and it ends up where I end up fighting with myself, and I know the correct answer, and I know that I shouldn't be doing it, and yet something just overtakes it because you feel really bad for the fact that you're letting somebody else down. I'm letting us both down, but
no, that's the way you felt.
Oh, that's the way I felt, but I don't now. It takes quite a bit to get me out of it once I'm in it.
We've been together 17 years, and this is why. Not everybody can go public and talk about their lives like we do. We don't have a problem with that. Yeah, we'd love to see many, many more people stay together for 17 years and more. And this is why, because we can openly talk about problems. We're not immune to problems. People think we're a perfect couple. We are deep down, but we still have problems. We still have disagreements.
Suffer sometimes.
Yeah, we don't argue so much now. We used to argue years ago, didn't we? But we don't argue now. We've evolved. We've realised that we're individual people, and that's what makes us a perfect couple. It's about understanding. It's about giving each other the space to resolve their own inner battles, like Sarah's just explained. I'm really understanding. I understand that Sarah has her own way of dealing with things. It's fucking wrong of me to say, oh, this is what you should be doing, this is how you deal with it. No. I tried to years ago, and all it does is cause more conflict because it causes more inner battles. Me saying, well, it works for me. No, I soon learned that lesson.
I think it all comes back to the fact that if, when you talk to me, and that you're so to the point, rather than going round anything, you get to the actual point, and sometimes that can be hurtful to me, even though it's not intentionally or anything. It's just the way I perceive it. It's never always right the way you're
There's a good old saying with any bad situation, yeah? And the saying goes, you can polish a turd and roll it in glitter, but at the end of the day, it's still a turd. I don't present you with a glittery turd, I present you with the turd. At the end of the day, if something's fucking bad, that's bad, yeah? And it needs sorting out. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, there is not many people, or men, or women, that can actually do that, because it just... I don't know.
No,
it's not even ego, nothing.
It's not
that,
ego, it's fucking reality. At the end of the day, if more people were real and truthful with each other instead of pussyfooting and saying, "Oh, come on, babe, you're all right." No. If things are shit, things are shit. Yeah?
Accept it. Yeah.
Accept it.
Yeah.
Get on with it. Move on. And that is something. I'll be honest. That is something.
Hard.
That is something. It's been difficult over the last day because Sarah's constantly kept going back over what could have been, and I've been like, give up, no need, move on. It wasn't for you. At the bottom line, it's not a failure, it's progress. You tried a different job, it wasn't for you. What's failing about that? Where's the failure bit? There isn't none. So don't dwell on it, move on, look for something else. And like I say, I'm not saying Morrison's is a perfect job, I'm not, but at the end of the day, we're now getting feedback back from them, or I certainly have today, where the interviewer, the lady that interviewed me, wanted to know about me before the interview. She's like, right, who are you? What, tell me a bit about yourself. So I told her, and she was like, all right, quite intrigued into our journey. And the fact that we've walked 200 miles to look for work, the determination between where we started and where we've got to now, and she was so fascinated, it's unreal. At which point the story changes, where they are trying to help you, or that's certainly the way it comes across to me, yeah? So like I say, I'm not going to dwell on it, I'm confident. I'm also confident that they're going to give Sarah a shot at it as well. If so, brilliant. I get to know it by the end of the week, by Friday, whether I've got the position or not. And she said it's if you do get the job, it will be a potential start on Monday. A couple of days induction and a bit of checkout work, and which I'm pleased about because there's been this big campaign on no automatic checkouts. In fact, let me think, there is no automatic checkouts.
I didn't actually see any.
There's no automatic checkouts in Morrison's in Gibraltar, which I'm really pleased about because it's that human touch. It's that customer service that they're trying to get rid of elsewhere. Trying to do away with jobs. If I get a job on a checkout, brilliant. It's going to kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone. It's going to provide us with the living that we're looking for in order to sustain the life we're looking for. It's going to give the customer that one-to-one, and not only that, it's going to put us in touch with more British people who speak the same language, yeah? And like I've said on my Facebook page, I certainly not racist by any score, but I am a big advocate of British jobs for British people, Gibraltar being an overseas territory of Britain, and they also use British produce, supporting British farmers. Now, some of you will know that I was brought up on a British farm in Lincolnshire, and the farming industry in Britain, kiss it goodbye, it's gone, yeah? I will do anything to try and support British farmers because, even as kids, when did we start? I would have been about 11 or 12 because I was too young to do certain tasks on the farm because of insurance purposes. But I could pick potatoes, I could go in the harvester with Dad. I couldn't drive the tractors at 11 or 12, but I did at 13. Can you imagine a 13-year-old now driving a tractor and having the responsibility of pulling a machine with possibly 6, 8 women on the back picking potatoes. We did that sort of thing. You know,
I
we
didn't
did
do that
under
sort of thing.
supervision, of course, you know, but we did that sort of thing, and that's why you grow up with responsibility. We used to burn stubble. You can't do it now because of the legislation, but we used to burn stubble with my dad. 100-acre fields, and I tell you what, that was fucking scary. If any of you older generation have seen stubble burning in fields, you'll know how scary that is. And I was doing that at 11 years old. I used to chuck my wellies on after school, go out with my dad, because it was an evening sort of job you did after a certain time of the night. And we'd be out till 10 o'clock at night till those fields were burnt, yeah? And we used to get a petrol rag on the end of a pitchfork, or a pitchfork with a lump of hay on, and we used to set off one direction, Dad set off the other. And at that age you was on your own, but you had to learn how to judge what the wind was doing, because if you got caught in the fire you was fucked. Yeah, learning responsibility at that age. But coming back on track, that was British farming. It not only provided employment for adults, it actually employment for women, piecework women, children. And like I say, it was bloody good. I was earning my own money at 11 years old, 12 years old. There's none of that now. And like I say, if we can do anything to try and support British farming industry, I'm up for it. So, like I say, I've got to praise Morrisons for that sort of thing. Their ethics are quite in line with mine. So that's my update. I think you're going to try for Morrisons, aren't you? You've put your application
I've
in.
done it already. So.
You've had your questionnaire through, so it's just a case of waiting now to see if she gets that phone call like I did and go off for an interview. I think that's about it for today, isn't it? Did we have anything else? Has anything else cropped up since? The airport got shut for a day yesterday. That was quite a bizarre thing to happen. The night before, it was shut for about 20 minutes because we was waiting for planes to come in. That was just an ordinary issue, that. But yesterday, they shut the airport for the whole day. Caused a bit of an uproar because, you know, it shuts country off. Even though there's not many flights in or out in a day, it soon causes mayhem. And it turned out the reason behind it was illness in the control tower at the airport. Yeah, it's caused quite an uproar, because can you imagine what would happen at Gatwick or Heathrow if that happened? It wouldn't happen because they've got a contingency plan in place for those eventualities. Turns out that it's been contracted out to a company for not only civilian flights but the military flights as well. NATS, I think they call it, NATS or something. And they've got nothing in plan for people that go off sick. So they had to close it for safety purposes. And it's like, what the hell? So let's see how fast the Chief Minister acts on this one, because ultimately that brings things to a halt, yeah, pretty bloody fast. Now, I was explaining to one of my members of family, one of my kids earlier on, there's a big multi-storey car park near us, and it's a dangerous crossing to Ocean Village. We noticed it straight away, and I said at the time, I said, it's a bit odd. It's the main area into Ocean Village, which is on the marina. There's no crossing. Strange. A similar comment hit Facebook, right? And loads of people responded saying it's dangerous, it needs sorting. And I kid you not, within 2 days, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
There has been a zebra crossing painted in exactly the place that we said that needed doing, yeah? It's been acted on, and it's serving a fantastic purpose. It's safe as houses now. 2 frickin' days. Can you imagine the local council acting on the people's requests? The people got concerned for the safety of their friends, their family, their relatives, the tourists, yeah, because it affects the whole country of Gibraltar. And within 2 days, bingo, the job's been resolved, and a mighty fine job they've done as well. I tip my hat to these guys out here. If they say do something, they do something. Another thing that we was really surprised with is we'd noticed some construction work on one of the main buildings on the Winston Churchill Way, on the way into Gibraltar. We didn't realise it was a new school, what they've built, what they've just opened. And the wall that is at the side of the main public footpath, they've planted live plants on it. It looks gorgeous. And the next best thing that I want to tell you is that most of those plants are actually strawberry plants. So you can imagine the kids are going to be going to school in the morning with fresh fruit in their bellies because it's right there for them to pick on the way to school. Come on, England. You can do better than that. Can you imagine it? This is the sort of life that we should have been living in England, yeah? We can't drag the sun there, but we can tell you of all the good things that are happening in the hope that they'd pull the fingers out, the local councils, and do something like that. I don't know, guys.
It's a great idea for the kids.
It's a fantastic idea. Who's missing anything? Nobody's missing anything. Nobody's losing anything. It's not costing anybody anything. There's orange trees in parts of Lavinia in the street. They're not ready yet, or I think they're orange or lime or lemons or something. They're fruit trees anyway.
Things. I don't know. I'm not sure whether it's two different
and
things.
It looks like the last crop wasn't really picked. It's still on the tree. Some of them rotting. So we're going to frequent them. We're going to keep walking past them from time to time, and when they become ripe, there's some fruit for you.
Yeah, you did try nicking one off it, didn't you?
Yeah, it wasn't ready. It wasn't going to pull off. I nearly pulled the branch off it. I was determined to get that orange. But, yeah, if only England had learned from such a tiny country like this. I don't know.
When we're in while we're in Lavinia, there's no colour. I always say it when I come in. There's just no colour.
What's that?
Yeah,
Say that again.
in Lavinia.
No colour.
There's not much colour.
Okay.
It's like, apart from the houses that have got painted walls, but like there's no greenery as such.
Right, okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
No living.
A bit, not like
you get palm
Gibraltar.
trees, you get big palm
Oh, yeah,
trees
you get
and succulents like cacti and such like, but nothing like grass, recreation
saying
fields
that, though,
and stuff like
that
that.
orange tree is actually in Lavinia, but it's just
Yeah.
there's just not
So
much
there is
greenery like we
no,
can
because
see
it dies.
in
It's
Gibraltar.
too hot.
Yeah, like
It's
in
too
Gibraltar,
hot.
it's, the parts of the buildings have got flowers on, or they've got
They have their own patio
fruit
flowers.
on. Or
Yeah,
it's just.
yeah.
But that.
But
tree,
if you think
that
about it,
tree,
it's far too
at
hot.
school.
You'd have to pump loads of water on it to keep it green, which is what they do at the back border.
Yeah,
If you
they do,
remember,
yeah.
they have little sprinklers actually in situ. You know, they're there permanently. And if you walk past at like 11 o'clock at night, you think, has it been raining here?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you'll see it. There's sprinklers all over the place, keeping the grass wet
Yeah.
at night. Yeah. And that's the council or the equivalent to the council that turn them on. So yeah, I see what you mean now. There's not a lot of greenery.
Yeah, a bit like that school. And to be honest, in Gibraltar, going round and that, this all green flowing over the balconies.
Living walls, I think, are wonderful because what have I said for so many years? I don't like living in concrete city. And when you look at Gibraltar, it is literally concrete city. There's that many high-rises, you can liken it to a miniature Hong Kong in some places.
Yeah.
But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cover the concrete and create living walls, literally living walls with flowers.
Some places anyway, that's what we've noticed.
Well, we've noticed that living wall on that school has been... Right, what day was it?
Yeah,
It was
it's been
Thursday. What are we on now? Monday. It was no, it wasn't at all. It was Saturday because we noticed it was weekend and the guys were working.
We're working on that,
yeah.
aren't we?
They were putting plants on that building
On
Saturday
one
and
side.
Sunday, yeah. And I kid you not, today there's butterflies on it already. I've seen it on Twitter. Somebody's videoed it, and it's already attracting wildlife in.
Yeah. The
Perfect.
butterflies are really big though. They really are. Very pretty. I can't wait to try and get a photo of it.
We
I want to get one.
we're quite often walking up the street, and all of a sudden you see this fucking thing come flying at you, and it's like the size of a sparrow, and you duck and you think, what the fuck's that? And it's a butterfly. They're really big. They are big, aren't they?
I've only seen orange ones, mainly orange ones. I don't think I've seen the other.
Another thing that we've just come aware of is something called a tiger mosquito. Now, I had a couple of blisters on my ankles that I thought at the time was intense sunburn, like Sarah had from, where did you go? Alcudia, some months ago. It turns out it's not at all. It's bites from tiger mosquitoes. Another issue that's been looked into immediately by the Chief Minister, because they are causing blisters, and a couple of people have already been put in A&E or gone to A&E for treatment, because they are bloody nasty. They're not nice at all. But we've been told that they breed, well, we know that mosquitoes breed around still water. One of the places that we've been to, the Commonwealth Gardens, is, looks like one of the target spots of where they're breeding. So anybody from Gibraltar who's watching these videos, be aware that it does seem like that that's where they're coming from, or majority of them. We believe that the rocks down on the eastern beach in La Linea as well have got them, because I do believe that's where I got mine from. We got eaten alive that night, and they're the ones that caused the blisters, thinking about it. So just be on your
anyway, well,
watching out.
probably.
Right, guys, we're going to go. It's really hot in here, and we're going to go out and get some fresh air. Great to update you again. Yeah. Keep on keeping on, and like I say, things are looking up, guys. We're on the right track. We took that leap of faith. We worked from in here, and that's the only place we're going to work from in the future as well. What more can we want? Take it easy, folks. Love you all. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.